Many of you have seen this picture already. You see that there's Meghan with her Cajuna hat.
There is absolutely zero doubt in my mind. Rachel Meghan Markle was a semi-expensive yacht girl, and she knows it.
It has long been rumoured that Meghan Markle was a yacht girl, as author Kirby Summers suggested that the then Meghan Markle likely spent time with Prince Andrew and Jeffrey Epstein before she even met Prince Harry.
Holy shit! He said what?
It is interesting how she's exposing her as a yacht girl, someone who was paid off by rich men to go and hang out.
Damn! This woman knows that she's in trouble with Fergie because she knows where Meghan Markle's bodies are buried. She knows that Meghan Markle has been yachting.
We again highlight the mucky murkiness and mendacious manner of this alleged yacht girl. According to Urban Dictionary, a yacht girl is an attractive young woman who finds ways to get access to luxurious surroundings by being available to wealthy men.
Yes, I would ask people to tell the truth.
Wasn't there some speculation that she was on Epstein's yacht at one point in time? There was like photos with her and Prince Andrew way back in the day when she was like in her early 20s.
As though it was the perfect complement for what I was building at this point in my life.
Listen, I brought Meghan Markle, whatever her name is, to my Deal or No Deal celebrity golf tournament. She was one of my Deal or No Deal girls that were, she was a caddy for all of my...
Remember when Prince Andrew accompanied Jeffrey Epstein and Ghislaine Maxwell to Thailand in 2001? No doubt everyone now recognizes Marcus Anderson as the man Andrew was engaged conversing with in these photos, thus drawing the connection between Marcus Anderson, the close associate and friend of Harry's wife, and the involvement with Prince Andrew. See parts past him about the suggestion that there was a relationship between Harry's wife and also Prince Andrew.
When Sarah Ferguson decided to open her mouth, Buckingham Palace collectively forgot how to breathe. What came out wasn't gossip. It was dynamite disguised as chit-chat. A single careless phrase turned the palace marble into eggshells. One line, and suddenly Prince Harry looked like he'd married a headline, and Meghan Markle was back on trial for the life she swore she'd left behind.
Everything happened because of Fergie.
It began with a grin. Fergie's "I shouldn't be saying this, but watch me grin." And right then, a reporter nearby caught it, and then the words that would scorch the royal family's fragile PR department. Meghan was Andrew's first client.
Meghan Markle was introduced by Sarah Ferguson to Prince Harry. He said Miss Markle was a close companion to Prince Andrew.
The sound barrier didn't stand a chance. Within minutes, tabloids exploded, Twitter combusted, and by sundown, Meghan's yacht days trended worldwide. The Duchess of Loose Lips had done it again, and no one inside the castle knew where to hide first, under a desk or behind plausible deniability.
She was a yacht girl, that's right. It's mentioned in the book. Meghan used to entertain as a yacht girl. Now, I'm not saying it's true. I'm not saying it happened, but I am saying Harry knows it.
Aides scrambled. Harry, reportedly stunned, wanted to believe it was just Fergie's foot entering her mouth again. But deep down, he knew that when Ferguson accidentally speaks, it's usually because she's run out of people to invoice. The palace press office did what it always does. Lock the doors, unplug the phones, and prayed the internet would forget. But the internet doesn't forget, not when the words "first client" echo through marble corridors once occupied by kings. Everyone asked, what did she mean? Why now? And why Fergie?
Meghan Markle was introduced through Marcus Anderson to Sarah Ferguson.
The woman who treats scandal like skincare, choosing to say this now. The rumor was suddenly reborn. Before the tiaras, before the Sussex title, Meghan Markle's earliest networking might have included a guest list that could sink ships.
According to people, she got started her yachting days and she never stopped really. I don't think any of her boyfriends knew about it, but Meghan Markle was known as a hardcore yacht partying person, ready for anything.
But that wasn't the whole story. It started quietly, as all royal fires do. A charity luncheon here, a discreet Mayfair soirée there. In that circle, champagne is currency, and secrets spill faster than bubbles. Somewhere between small talk and self-destruction, Fergie decided to rewrite history. Eyewitnesses swear she leaned over her glass and said, almost casually, "People forget, Meghan's first royal connection wasn't Harry." Then came the napalm. Let's just say she was Andrew's first client. Silence, nervous laughter, a few aristocrats reaching for imaginary exits. Because even by royal standards, that line was a bombshell in heels.
And I wonder if Prince Andrew's gonna come out and say, "Hey, Harry, I did your wife quite a few times on yachts before you got."
Within hours, every newsroom in London had the quote, Andrew's first client, ricocheted from encrypted journalist chats to palace WhatsApps to the front page of every tabloid that had ever printed the word scandal. Harry refused to comment, pretending he hadn't heard. Meghan's lawyers probably popped blood pressure pills like Tic Tacs. And the courtiers, they applied the monarchy's sacred creed. Never explain, never complain. Definitely never Google. By midnight, investigative producers were connecting dots nobody asked them to connect, linking Meghan's old Hollywood circles, her Soho House connections, her social calendar, to Andrew's notorious exclusive gatherings.
Jeffrey Epstein was also Harvey Weinstein, very prominent. There were members. Meghan Markle was just one of the working girls for Soho House. Call girl, working girl, escort, whatever you want to call it. That's what she was.
Each connection more speculative than the last, but in royal arithmetic, rumor times silence equals truth. Fergie didn't retract, didn't clarify, didn't blink. She'd lobbed her one-liner and left the room. Meanwhile, behind closed doors, the firm's PR squad performed triage on their own dignity. The fear wasn't that it was true, it was that people believed it could be. And yet, what made it lethal wasn't the accusation itself, it was the source. Fergie, Andrew's longtime partner in disaster, wasn't an outsider. She was the one person who could make fiction sound like evidence.
And we also have this. This is Karina Shuliak, Epstein's girlfriend.
And the only times she traveled and went anywhere was with him. And guess who's on the other end with her Panama hat?
And what happens next is shocking. Long before she curated an image of feminist philanthropy and Montecito serenity, Meghan Markle was a hustler in heels. Hollywood taught her that ambition had a dress code and networking was survival. Between bit parts, charity galas, and high society mixers, she climbed the ladder one handshake at a time and never looked down to see whose shoulders she was standing on. Those who knew her back then remember two constants: precision and hunger. She could charm a director, flatter a financier, and make an introduction feel like destiny. And somewhere inside that social labyrinth were the floating parties, yachts where the elite mingled, flirted, and forged reputations as easily as contracts. They called it summer networking. Everyone else called it what it was: expensive chaos at sea.
And here we have Andrew, with whom looks like Marcus Anderson. This is in 2001, when Meghan Markle would have allegedly been on third year. Meghan Markle hardly spent any time at Northwestern University.
Rumors claimed Meghan had attended a few. No proof, no photos, just whispers carried by people who remember too much and prove too little. But when Fergie tied her to Andrew's infamous circles, the fog suddenly felt like fact. Fergie had rewritten Meghan's origin story overnight, from cable show actress to duchess in training, to potential footnote in Andrew's shadow. Tabloids feasted. The palace hid behind antique curtains, hoping the Wi-Fi would go out. And let's be honest, linking anyone to Andrew these days is like stapling a scandal to your forehead. The man once hailed as hero pilot had devolved into the royal family's resident cautionary tale. By dragging Meghan's name into his orbit, Fergie wasn't gossiping. She was firing a torpedo. Because for the monarchy, this wasn't another PR hiccup. It was contamination.
It could be also happening that the royal family is saying, hey, if you put a book out about Meghan Markle and completely destroy everything and really tell the people how Meghan met Harry.
If Meghan had so much as waved at someone from Andrew's yacht scene, the entire modern fairy tale narrative collapsed like wet meringue. Yet Fergie wasn't done. For her, this was less confession and more performance art, a masterclass in chaos management. The woman who'd once sold interviews to pay her bills had found a new product, detonating reputations for free press. The question echoing through the palace halls now wasn't whether she lied. It was why she'd choose this week to do it: revenge, distraction, or a carefully timed nudge from higher up to keep someone else's skeleton buried.
Harry also knows Meghan was on Jeffrey Epstein's yacht with Prince Andrew.
This is where it gets worse. By the time the sun rose over London, the Mayfair remark had grown legs, wings, and a publicist. Reporters didn't just quote it, they performed autopsies on the word client. Was Fergie suggesting a business tie, a metaphor for Meghan's calculated social climbing, or something darker from Andrew's offshore Rolodex? Sarah Ferguson refused to clarify. She smiled the way only a veteran of royal scandals can, chin high, eyes glinting with self-preservation. When a journalist shouted a question across a parking lot, she simply said, "Oh, don't twist my words," which of course guaranteed that everyone would. Inside Buckingham Palace, communications aides were hemorrhaging caffeine and credibility. Senior staff called emergency meetings to contain what one insider described as an internal Chernobyl, because when Fergie opens her mouth, she doesn't leak, she detonates.
And I know what you're gonna say. Maybe it was just that one trip. No, there were quite a few trips. There's actually quite a lot of pictures about them. There are 2 pictures that leaked.
Courtiers knew this wasn't a mistake. Fergie had survived worse and learned precision. Every syllable had intent. She'd once rebuilt her reputation from tabloid ashes. She knew which phrases would trend before the microphones cooled. By pairing Meghan's name with Andrew's, she'd created an impossible headline: the monarchy's 2 most radioactive figures suddenly sharing a rumor. And Andrew naturally naturally stayed hidden, silence being his only marketable skill.
Prince Andrew, have you noticed how he completely avoids looking at Meghan Markle when she's around him or when she was around him?
But Fergie's comment dragged him back into the glare. Let's just say Meghan was Andrew's first client, replayed on every network. As if Buckingham had suddenly been scripted by HBO, the damage was immediate. Meghan's curated image of humanitarian grace cracked. Harry's protective rage turned into PR paralysis. Even Charles looked ready to trade the crown for witness protection. The monarchy's oldest rule, never let the public see the blood, was now irrelevant. Everyone could smell it. But that wasn't the whole story. While the press devoured Fergie's words, palace corridors echoed with panic disguised as protocol. No one released a statement which, in royal translation, meant, "It's bad, but we can't decide whose fault it is yet." Advisors tried distraction tactics, promoting charity visits, posting smiling photos of William planting trees, but the internet wasn't interested in landscaping. The only thing blooming online was the phrase, Andrew's first client.
This woman knows that she's in trouble with Fergie because she knows where Meghan Markle's bodies are buried. She knows that Meghan Markle has been yachting. In fact, they had friction because Meghan had originally set her sights on Prince Andrew.
Harry reportedly raged behind closed doors, torn between fury and dread. Defending Meghan risked amplifying the rumor. Staying silent made him look complicit. Meghan herself retreated from public view. Her team drafted possible legal rebuttals, but quickly realized suing Fergie would turn whispers into evidence. Meanwhile, Sarah Ferguson strutted through London like the queen of chaos, signing cookbooks while Buckingham burned. She knew exactly what she'd done, and she looked radiant doing it. The rest of the firm tiptoed around the blast radius. No one wanted to alienate Andrew's ex completely. She still knew too much, and every attempt to distance themselves only made the story wilder. The internet stitched together old yacht photos, Soho House guest lists, even blurry shots of party decks that suddenly looked familiar. The monarchy's problem wasn't proof, it was plausibility. Fergie's credibility rating hovered between questionable and comic relief, yet her gossip sounded just believable enough to torch reputations. And what happens next is shocking. To grasp Fergie's motives, you have to remember her royal resume: humiliation, bankruptcy, and an Olympic gold in survival. For decades, she'd been the court jester of scandal, mocked, forgiven, ignored, then resurrected. She knew that relevance in Windsor is rarer than loyalty. When Meghan became the new media obsession, glossy, global, and adored, Fergie faded into polite irrelevance, and that, insiders say, stung more than any tabloid headline. The Duchess who once dominated front pages was now background noise in someone else's fairy tale. So when she dropped Meghan's name into Andrew's sinkhole of disgrace, it wasn't random, it was strategy. One sentence, and she'd re-centered herself in royal gossip's solar system. Now everyone needed her version, her wink, her follow-up interview. Some theorized she was doing the firm's dirty work, throwing Meghan under a luxury bus to distract from another brewing controversy. Others believed she was avenging old snubs, payback for being left out of royal events while Meghan got red carpet treatment. Either way, Fergie's chaos had purpose. She's mastered the dark art of selective truth-telling. Give the press just enough blood to keep you relevant, but not enough to bury you. In one afternoon, she redirected global attention, reopened Andrew's wounds, and reminded the monarchy who the real wildcard was.
In my opinion, in my analysis and my experience of decades, this kind of analysis for me is the real deal. If a photo such as this of Meghan Markle with Prince Andrew years ago surfaces, that will be quite an scandal.
But that wasn't the whole story. The next dawn brought no peace, only headlines that read like confessions. From deal or no deal to royal raw deal, yacht to palace pipeline, every newsroom feasted, every talk show host sharpened their jokes. Even the late night crowd joined in. One quipped that Buckingham should install a scandal evacuation plan.
She'd been a deal or no deal girl. She was calling herself a model, and she was starring in a show Suits. She used to charge almost $30,000 per trip, which is why she was making good money. It wasn't on Suits, it was on her yachting trip.
Inside the palace, tension clung to the wallpaper. Staff whispered that Harry looked like a man who'd just realized loyalty can't be trademarked. Meghan, according to friends, went silent, her favorite weapon when words could only lose. The rumor had crossed from gossip to gospel. And Andrew, still nowhere to be seen. His invisibility screamed louder than any denial could. That single absence turned Fergie's line into folklore. Then came the cruelest twist. Insiders muttering that Meghan had once aimed higher, that before Harry, she'd angled for Andrew. The claim sounded ridiculous, yet it circulated like champagne at a state banquet.
In fact, they had friction because Meghan had originally set her sights on Prince Andrew, but she lucked out with the idiot Harry. Not in a million years did Meghan think that she was going to score Prince Harry. She thought she was going to score Andrew until Fergie put a stop to it.
A few aides even joked she shot for the Duke she could actually catch. Weeks later, the noise faded, but the and damage calcified. Harry's confidence fractured. Meghan's silence became its own indictment. And the royal brand, already wobbling, looked one headline away from collapse. Because this wasn't just about one woman's reckless remark at a party. It was a mirror held up to the entire House of Windsor. It showed that inside the velvet walls, envy is oxygen. Forgiveness is for press releases, and truth only exists when it's convenient. Fergie lit the spark, but the palace built the tinder. Her sentence revealed what the royals have always tried to bury, that every generation needs a scapegoat. And this time, Meghan's name was the easiest to ignite. And yet, there's an irony. For all the outrage, for all the denial, everyone secretly loved it. The monarchy thrives on moral outrage. It's the only kind of relevance it has left. Fergie might have endangered the family, but she also saved their ratings. Still, one question lingers like smoke in those gilded halls. Did Sarah Ferguson accidentally stumble on the truth, or did she deliberately remind the world how rotten that truth already was? The firm will act like nothing happened. Meghan will post curated calm. Harry will pretend he didn't see the fire while clutching the extinguisher. And Fergie, she'll pour another cup of redemption tea, smile into the cameras, and wait for her next headline. If you caught the clues before the cameras did, hit like, tap subscribe, and ring that bell, because this saga isn't done. Now tell us in the comments, was Fergie spilling or scheming? Drop your thoughts below. And since you made it this far, check out some of my other videos on the top of the screen. Thanks for watching. Until next time, stay tuned, stay safe, and stay informed. Only on Tea Time with Tina.